Our viewers told us which board games they've been playing and why, and we picked out a bunch to share with you. There's some old favourites, a dash of the news hotness, and several surprises in this month's People's Choice selections. First up is Bacon, which is a fixed partnerships climbing game for 4 or 6 players. It's all about going out as early as possible as a team. The only team that will score is the team that goes out first, but their score will depend on when the rest of their team goes out. If your team does not go out first, you're not going to get any points, and your job is simple: make the other team go out as late as possible. Amongst others, it's viewer Stephen A that voted for this one this month, saying this is one of the best shedding card games ever designed, always fun and full of tense and exciting moments. In our last game, the winning player only won by 1 point, laying down a 6-card straight flush to another player's 5-card straight flush. Wild. A wonderful game for somewhat experienced card players. This one looks cool. It reminds me a little bit of Teach You, I think, which is not an old game, but it's a classic card. It looks like, everyone thinks Teach You is really old. It's not actually that old. But there's the idea of, obviously, you're shedding your cards and, you know, playing a 1, and someone playing a 2, someone playing a 3, someone playing 2 1s or 2 2s, and all those type of things. But in Teach You, it's not only a partnership game, but there's also the idea of bombs, these big melds that are very, very difficult to beat. And having, like Stephen said, 6 cards of the same suit, that's, I think, the best bomb in the whole game. That would be a pretty tense way to finish it off. And I do like the extra added twist here, where if you win a trick, but you don't think you can win many more, you can give the lead of the trick to your partner, because you think one of us needs to go out first. I won that trick, well, I've still got 6 cards left. You've only got 2 cards left. I'm going to let you lead. So I like that twist as well. But before the next game, here is a message from the sponsor who, in part, helped make this episode possible.
Skyrockets from Floodgate Games. While cleaning out your locker at the Mage Academy on the last day of school, you stumble upon the tantalizing tome, Magical Recreational Aerial Explosive Devices and You. That's right, magic fireworks. And this sets the stage for Skyrockets, where mischievous mages take turns to play cards and flip the matching sand timers, your fireworks, without letting any run out. Keep the timers running as you advance along the festival countdown track and work together to amaze the crowds in real time. Master 30 unique events that present different challenges to overcome and impress the crowds by earning a 3-star rating in each one. Follow the link in this video's description to find Skyrockets, now available, with a deluxe edition that includes acrylic tokens and custom card sleeves available directly from Floodgate Games.
In Advent Card, 1 to 5 players want to build a collection of stunning cubist artwork. We've all been there. Each player starts with a deck of cards that admittedly aren't great, but each card you play earns you $1. And on your turn, players can buy cards from the gallery, but you'll want to spend wisely and efficiently to up the value of the artwork in your hand as you deck build. There's patrons out there in play as well, which give you additional powers, and this is all with the goal of gaining rewards. If you earn at least 6, you get an award, and higher amounts net you more. $11 is worth 4 points awards, but it's also rather difficult to pull off. Noreen G says simply, this was fun at 2 players. Haven't tried it with more. I've had multiple people tell me about this game recently. Advent Card, great name, let's be real. And I really want to play it because I think I'm going to enjoy it. There's this big simplicity to this game, right? You're trying to, the description doesn't describe this, but the way you're playing your cards out, you can either play cards of the same number or of the same color. And you want to play as many of the cards in your hand as possible. Ideally all of them, right? So all 7. But to do that, I'm going to play a 2, a 2, a 2. The last 2 was a green, so I'm going to play this green and this green. This is a green 5. Then I'm going to play my purple 5. You know, so you kind of chain all your cards together. And the amounts, and that really is going to depend on what you buy. You want to buy cards that are same numbers that you've already got and same colors that you've already got. Everyone's starting hand is slightly different to, I imagine, help with a deck building aspect. Not everyone's going for the same thing. I really like the look of this one. It looks simple, but fun and satisfying. I really want to try this one. Next up is D-Day at Omaha Beach, which is a solitaire study of one of America's most bloody and heroic days of World War II. I mean, there were 83,000 British and Canadian troops there as well at D-Day. 10,000 more than the Americans, but sure, yeah, America. The player controls the US forces landing alongside the 5-mile stretch of Omaha Beach on D-Day and their desperate struggles to establish a viable beachhead, and the game covers the entire of the first day. Units are companies and include assaulting infantry, engineers and amphibious tanks. The game system controls the hidden German defenders in their Weissstadt-Nest resistant points. Nailed that, we all know I got that right. Revealing the defenders and their reserves as the American survivors of the first landing waves make their way up the bluffs. It's what you played consummate wargame friend Henry W, who's been playing this. They say it's a great solo board game that I've been playing recently. Very difficult. Well, the difficulty goes hand in hand with the theme. I saw this game described as Saving Private Ryan, the board game, which sounds devastating, honestly. And it really is that idea of you're landing on the beach. I think your turns take place in like, this turn is this 15 minutes, then this turn is this 15 minutes. So you really are moving up the beach slowly, trying to take all these positions, use everything you've got to the best and get rid of the German in their stronghold points on the board. I would say that this game is, for me, a solitaire war game that's probably a bit over my pay grade of information that I can have on games, but I really like the way this one looks. The board looks really interesting, the way the kind of like there's lines on it. It doesn't look like an average war game on the board, and do I want to get into solitaire war games? Because if I did, this one could be good. Gather your crew and prepare to explore the vast reaches of infinite space. I'll just do that. Your newly installed rocket drive will aid in mining valuable resources from nearby asteroids, while your experimental drop drive will let you jump to distant and unknown depths of space. Depth is space deep. Orbit strange worlds to sell your cargo, pick up passengers and collect alien specimens, all while battling unscrupulous pirates hell-bent on profiteering off your tireless efforts. This is Drop Drive. It's a lightweight sandbox game for 2 to 4 players featuring a drop style mechanism that assures no two games could possibly be the same. Drop Drive blends strategy with a novel spatial element that will challenge casual and hardcore gamers alike. It's Topher H who's been playing this, saying, taking the chaotic fun of Dungeon Drop, which came before this, to the next level, this pick up and deliver game in space is an absolute blast. Okay, I'll admit it. Drop Drive looks pretty cool. There's this, firstly, you are kind of doing so much personalization. It's asymmetrical in some ways because not only it's a sandbox game, so not only are you going to be going for different things, but you also, the way your ship starts off, you kind of like have a ship that's this half of is better at this thing and this half is better. You get to kind of like choose how to make your ship, and then there's the modules that you put into your ship that change things up, give you special powers. There's a captain that you have which gives you extra special powers. Lots of personalization going on for your strategy. But the cool thing, let's be real, the cool thing is, so at the very start of the game, to populate the universe, you get all the pieces and drop them down onto this central sun, which sends them scattering out across the board. And then when you get resources and you put them back, you have to drop them down. And your movement is challenging in the sense that you don't necessarily get to choose exactly where you go. You can try to go where you want to go, but the movement involves dropping as well. So there's always that random element of chaotic space involved. I really would like to try this game. There seems to be like modules for it and a bunch of other stuff and lots of things to go for, lots of replayability here. I'm really interested in Drop Drive, and I want to play Dungeon Drop. I want to try that one as well. Why not? Another game now all about dropping stuff, because this is Drop It. You've got circles, triangles, squares, even a devious diamond. Drop It's all about letting go your pieces and hoping that they land somewhere in the vertical game board where you wanted them to land. Ideally, where they'll even score you points. But tiles will bounce around and they don't go where you want them to go. Each turn, 2 to 4 players are going to be dropping one of their pieces into the slot of the game board. You score points for the highest level that your piece touches and for any special locations that it touches. But If your piece touches anything of the same shape or colour, then you score nothing. I will be scoring nothing. And if I do score, it'll be because I argued very hard that technically I don't think that is touching. It is touching. Stephen F says, great fun for the whole family. Grandma Paula had a wonderful time beating me every single game. I still love her, but I swear, by all that is holy, she's going down next time. Drop It is just so much fun. It's such a silly concept for a game, but it works so well. It really is a great laugh because you're dropping the pieces in, and you're really trying, you're really thinking, I got this. Don't fail me now, circle. Go where I want you to go, circle. It's never going to go where you want it to go, is it? You got to hope. It's just brilliant. It's so simple to teach. Everyone enjoys it. It's just a great game. The 1 to 5 player Fractured Sky is a game of deduction, sneaky strategy, and resource management, set on a fantastical island. Players lead their kingdom in the hunt for shards of fractured falling stars, which are rumoured to grant wishes to those that can amass enough of them. They probably don't though, do they? Using airships, players send their armies to regions with the star shards, but finding those is not always easy, and hiring seers to predict their falls can be worth the investment. Over time, players will increase their presence on the island, placing permanent buildings to give them advantages like extra resources or increasing their size of their troops. Only one wish will be granted though, so who will amass the most shards before the final star falls? It's viewer Takomi's been playing this one. They say Ivy Studios knocks it out of the park with this amazing area majority game. Had a 5-player group where we all were learning for the first time. Each round had such fun dialogue, cries of anguish, hums of intrigue, and laughs that surprise the players when the results are revealed. I think Ivy Studios might be, for me, the best pound for pound board game publisher out there. For me personally. They don't release that many games, but I feel like every game they release is just great, and the production quality is fantastic, and they always kind of do expansions. Mythic Mischief's my favourite. It's brilliant. Did you play the cooperative version of Moonrakers? That was also great. And Fractured Sky is one of those games, they do this thing right, where they mix up board game mechanisms that you aren't expecting them to do so. Right? Like in Mythic Mischief, it's an abstract strategy game with loads of theme. Right? And Fractured Sky is an area majority game with deduction and intrigue. And it works really well. It's devious because you're desperately trying to work out where these star falls, these shards are, what get you points, right? And you can do that by leveraging your abilities, and sometimes you can even look. You can literally look and see where it's going to be. But everyone knows you've seen where it is. So if you then go and build something over there, everyone's going to assume it's over there. But it's not over there, is it? It's actually over there. Oh, I haven't actually built anything over there. You know, it gives you those type of things. Fractured Sky is great. There's magnets in it. I think that's exciting. And I'm always excited to see what the Ivy Studios make. Next up on the list, we'll be following the trail to learn the fate of Professor Cuttle and other missing explorers in Lost Ruins of Arnok, The Missing Expedition, an expansion to the wildly loved base game, where you can now test the strategies offered by 2 new leaders, explore new paths to knowledge on 2 new research tracks, and build your expedition team up with new artifacts, items, and assistants. But that is not all. And while this expansion can just be added to the base game of Lost Ruins of Arnok, it also includes something that you never think it's going to include. You can discover as part of a solo or 2-player cooperative campaign that consists of 6 chapters, each with a different set of rules, goals, and achievements. Tyler and Aaron have been playing this, who say, we concluded the 2-player cooperative campaign this month. We had a rough start on chapter 1, but then we got our footing and made it through the expedition. We enjoyed how each chapter changed the winning conditions, which really shifted the gameplay with each session. Another great trip to Arnak. I like expansions that do this. A lot of the time from an expansion, don't need there to be a new thing. I don't need there to be loads. What's this now? I've got to think about. What I really like in expansions is expansions that add more of the same. I like expansions that add depth rather than breadth. And I think this is what this does. Then it also throws you an absolute curveball by having a cooperative campaign. What? Where did that come from? What's this treat for people who love this game? And I think that's true, that The Lost Ruins of Arnak has been such a great hit, and I wouldn't be surprised if there's more expansions at some point. But adding that campaign in as well as everything else, it kind of feels like a bit of a treat, you know? September 1939. Many years before the Americans will finally join the war effort, but that's neither here nor there. The commander of the Admiral Grafsby receives orders to sink as many British freight ships as possible in the South Atlantic. The objective is to intercept the ships crossing the Atlantic and prevent supplies from reaching the UK and other destinations. And the plan seems to work in the first few months. Within a few weeks, 9 freight ships and 50,000 tons of supplies are sent to the seabed. In order to protect the freighters in the best way possible, the Admiralty had no choice but to reinforce the English fleet in the South Atlantic by sending 3 cruisers in what's known as the Battle of the River Plate. The hunt is an asymmetrical duel for 2 players, where one player assumes the leadership of the British Royal Navy, while the other player represents the Germans. Each player has their own deck of cards. In order for the German side to win, they must stay hidden from the British while sinking 5 cargo ships. While the British must hunt down and fight the Admiral Grafsby in a final naval battle, and also get their stuff to Blighty. Harold B simply says, fun, fast history, and did that happen in the Atlantic? Yes, it did, but I tell you what, I really like the artwork, firstly, of this game. I think it's Salt and Pepper games. They did Resist and a few of those other games. I just really like this art style. And this is such a good heads-up 2-player duel of a game. It really is a lot of fun. And I think the first game I played of this, it ended very quickly. But then we played again, and we really started to understand what was going on. And you're playing very different games, right? The Germans and the British. But it's all held together by something that I really love in other war games, which is the idea of I can use this card for the operation points to do stuff, or I can use this card for the ability. Or do I save this card for later because of a different phase? The ability is really good, but I need the operational points now to do what I'm trying to do. It's not overly complicated, it's not overly wrought, it's just really fun. You know, you're trying to hunt out this U-boat that's sinking all the ships, and it's stressful. You think, I've got to get this stuff back to Britain. Well, the German player's thinking, oh my gosh, they're so close to me, they're going to get me, they're right here. Oh, it's really tense, really fun. Now, don't be alarmed, but zombies are attacking the entire town. Bummer. But you can cooperate with your friends and launch an expedition to drive off the overwhelming hordes by collecting the 4 ingredients needed to brew the antidote and save the world. Zombie Teens Evolution is the sequel to Zombie Kids Evolution, which is apparently, did you know this? Zombie Kids Evolution is the #1 ranked kids game on Board Game Geek, which I thought was pretty impressive, honestly. It's a standalone game, though, with a different set of rules, so you don't need to have played the first game to jump into the second. The rules are slightly more advanced and will require a little more strategic thinking. Following the same general guidelines as its predecessor, this is a fast and simple game whose rules evolve and change game to game through the operating and opening of 14 mystery envelopes. We like them, don't we? By accomplishing special missions, players unlock additional content that will provide a richer experience while constantly renewing the enjoyment of the game. Dennis S has been playing this. They say, we played the game several times and then stopped for a long time. But recently my 10-year-old son wanted to play this game again and again and again. We managed to go through everything and complete the game. Quite a lot of fun and challenging with nice surprises along the way. He really loved it. I've never really looked into this series of games, the Zombie Something Evolution games. But I did hear of the first one because it was nominated for the Spiel des Jahres. Not the Kinderspiel, the full-blown, it was nominated for the Spiel, Game of the Year. And so many people seem to like it. And it's the #1 kids game. It's got to be pretty good. So I looked up a lot of information on this, and it looks fun because really you're starting off, and I can't say much about it because of spoilers, but you're starting off and you're just trying to get these crates back, so get these ingredients. But at the start of your turn, you roll a dice, and that might activate a event, or it might bring a zombie on. You've got to dodge these zombies and get rid of them in different ways. And you can't just pick up a crate and move it back. Everyone has to kind of like link together to move things around. And then, yeah, it's a campaign game. It's a legacy game. There's stickers to place and all manner of stuff. There's, rules to be opened and added to the rule book. All those things that we enjoy doing. I really think that if my niece gets a little bit older, this might be something to play through with her that she will enjoy, but I'll also enjoy playing as well. And finally, on the People's Choice this month, nominated by many people, is Disney's Lorcana, which is a trading card game that features Disney characters in both the original and reimagined art styles that live in an all-new world with unique and magical gameplay. The game is set in the rich and fantastical world of Lorcana, which is a combination of the words lore and arcana. Who knows? And players will take on the mantle of Illumineer, which is a combination. It's not the Illuminati and reindeer, is what I was going to say. That's not true. That's a lie. It's a powerful sorcerer, all right? And you band together Disney characters from Lorcana's Great Illuminary, which is a treasure trove of all Disney songs and things ever made. One such people who's been playing this is Jonathan L., who says, "Well, I've done it. I finally found a TCG that my wife wants to play. We tried a demo at Aircon and she loved it, both how the game plays as well as the license. For me, the game does a great job of maximizing enjoyment without the myriad complexities of certain other games of this type. We are officially a Lorcana household now." I also demoed that at Aircon. I got my promo card right there. Heck yeah, that's why I did it. I like Lorcana, and when it first came out, I was hot on Lorcana. I love Magic the Gathering, I love Swoop, Star Wars Unlimited, and I'm a big fan of a card game called Universes, which is probably my favorite of all those types of games. But there's a place in my heart for Star Wars. There's a place in my heart for Lorcana, because it's excellent. I really think it's a game that's going to get a lot of people into TCGs and other card games. And for that alone, I appreciate Lorcana. But it's not just a simple entryway game. There's lots of complexity and depth, and they're releasing a fourth set, and I think it's a game that's going to stand the test of time, and I really hope it's a game that's here for years and years to come. Because in a way, I kind of see it as a bit of an important game in our hobby at the moment. And it's also just a lot of fun. And I did win when I demoed it again, which made me very happy. And that is a sampling of what our viewers have been playing this month. To join the discussion for next episode, follow the link in the description to our Patreon to find out how to pick the games featured in the People's Choice. And to see the games on our own personal radars, continue on to this month's On the Radar episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you over there.